Hi, it's me, Allie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a magical start to your day. I'm here today to do a Walt Disney World money-saving tips and tricks video for you. This has been so highly requested since my previous Disney Q&A video. Very quick little disclaimer, I'm going to be touching upon a lot of the topics that I talked about in my previous Disney Q&A video, but I had a lot of you requesting that I expand on them and make a whole separate video. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. If you have any questions or concerns, just ask them in the comments below, and without further ado, let's get into some money-saving tricks. The very first money-saving tip that I have is to check out the Disney deals. It does not matter if you are going in winter, spring, summer, or fall. Disney is always running promotional deals. Whether it is free dining, it is saving 25 to 30% off of your room, whether it is to get a free pop hopper, they are always offering some sort of promotional deal. They won't always have those on the computer. A lot of times I have to call them up after I book a trip and say, hey, what are the promotional deals for the summer? And then they'll add it onto your trip. So definitely check out the Disney deals. You can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you just ask for the Disney promotional deals. Sometimes it's going to be free dining, and if you think about the dining, it's $60 a day for a person. If you're going with a family of 4, that is $240 a day. If you're going for 5 days, you're going to be saving over $1,000 right there just on the Disney dining plan. If you're going to be saving 20% off of your room, and your room is $1,000, where you're getting 20% off of your room right then and there. So definitely check out the Disney deals. It's going to save you a lot of money. The next one has to do with where you're going to stay. When you are planning a trip to Walt Disney World, one of the first things that you should ask yourself is where you're going to stay. Are you going to stay on-site or are you going to stay off-site? If you're going to stay on-site, Walt Disney World really does have a package to fit every single budget. They have value resorts, which you can get sometimes for under $100 a night. Now, if that's still a little too expensive for you, you can stay off-site. Now, if you're staying off-site, it is typically a lot cheaper, but you have to get your own transportation. If you are going to be staying off-site, a lot of the hotels that are still very close to the Disney grounds will offer free shuttles. So check into that because it will save you a lot of money. If you have to take your car into the park, you're still gonna have to pay for parking. So if you're staying at a hotel that is off-site, you will save some money, but try to stay on one that is very close to the Disney ground because they will still offer you complimentary transportation to and from the park. The only thing with that is if you're staying off-site, you kind of lose out on all the amenities as if you were to stay on-site. If you're staying on-site, you get the extra magic hours, you get complimentary bus services, and there are other things as well if you stay on-site that they're kind of trying to get you to stay there. They're trying to give you like promotional deals to get you to stay on the Walt Disney World Resort grounds. This next one I'm going to break down into 2 parts because it has to do with the Disney dining plan, and there is always that constant debate on whether or not the Disney dining plan is worth it or if it is a ripoff. Now, I am personally on the side that says it is so totally worth the money. If you are a big eater like myself and you love to go to Walt Disney World and eat all the snacks and eat at the quick service restaurants and eat at the table service restaurants, then the Disney dining plan is your option. The Disney dining plan is $60 a day for adults and $40 a day for kids, I believe 12 and under. Now what that is going to give you is a snack a day, a quick service a day, and in that quick service you're going to get a meal, a drink, and a dessert. You're also going to get a table service meal a day, which is again a meal, a drink, and a dessert. Think about if you go to these table service restaurants, again, if you are a big eater, this is for you, and you go to these table service restaurants, some of the meals at these table service restaurants range anywhere from like $25 to sometimes $40 for just the meal. If you are doing this Disney dining plan, you get that $40 meal or $25 meal or whatever the price of the meal is. You also get a dessert and you get a drink. You're talking about $45 just then and there for dinner. Again, you also get your quick service and you get your snack. So for me, I like to order the higher options, the bigger options, the options that are a little bit more expensive on the menu. I personally always go for those because if I'm getting the Disney dining plan, get every single bang for your buck. Now on the other hand, if you're not a big eater and you usually go to these restaurants and get like a salad or you just get a soup, then the Disney dining plan is probably not for you. I would suggest that if you're not a big eater, don't do the Disney dining plan. You'll save yourself a lot of money. Now, if you are not a big eater, either buy it as you go, maybe just get quick services, or you can always just bring your own food into the park. You can go to some grocery stores outside the park and stock up on food. You can bring your breakfast into the park, your lunch, your dinner, your snacks. You can bring any of that food into the park as long as it makes it through security. So really weigh your options out. Do your research on this. If you're a big eater, I highly, highly, highly suggest the Disney dining plan because it always saves me a lot of money. And if you're not really a big eater, don't do the Disney dining plan. Just bring food with you or pay as you go. Now, one more thing, this doesn't necessarily save you any money, but with the Disney dining plan, you have to pay for it before you go on your trip. So again, it's not going to save you any money, but when you go on your trip, it's already paid for, and that's always so nice for me that I don't have to worry about $40 here, $50 here, $60 there. It's all paid for. So it's really awesome for me, and just do your research. It could really save you a lot of money. To stay on the topic of food, another way to save a penny or two if you are not doing the Disney dining plan is to order off of the kid menu. At every single quick service location, you are allowed to order off of the kid menu. It is usually almost half the price of the adult meal, and you still get a large portion of food. Disney is pretty much known for not skimping you on their portions, or at least I personally think so. I've seen kids' meals before, I've been with kids before, and their meals are still rather large. So if you're not super hungry and you don't want a full meal, order for the kids menu. Another thing that you can do if you go to a table service, I believe they still do this, you can order one meal to share. Now sometimes they upcharge you like $2 for the extra plate if you're going to share a meal, but the meals at the table service restaurants are typically huge. So if you're trying to save $1, or again, you're not really that hungry but you still want to go to these sit-down restaurants, share a meal with a friend, and then it's going to cost you basically half of the amount of money, and you're still going to get a decent amount of food. This next one doesn't really apply to me, although I really wish it did. I am a teacher and I only have so many months that I can go per year, but if you have the flexibility of going to Disney World at any time throughout the year, go during their off season. During their off season, it is significantly cheaper. During the summer, during December, during New Year's Eve, that is their peak time, and they raise their prices a lot because they can. That is the time that everybody wants to go to Walt Disney World. If you have the flexibility of going in February or you're going during their off season, it is going to be so much cheaper, not only for the parks, but for the rooms, for the food. Well, I don't know about for the food, but pretty much everything else is going to be a lot cheaper. Go during their off season, do some research. You can call any representative and ask them when their off season is. They will tell you right away. I just Google, just because I do this for fun sometimes, and I try to see if I can squeeze a tiny little trip in here and there. If you Google Disney's off season, they will tell you the months that are typically the cheapest and the least crowded, excuse me. So check into their off season if you have the flexibility of doing that, because it will save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. There are so many things to do on the Walt Disney World grounds that have nothing to do with stepping foot into a park. So take yourself a little rest day, or a cheap day as I like to call it. If you do not go to the parks for one day, you are saving admission on all the people in your party. Now you can go to the pool, you can go to Disney Springs, you can just explore. One of my favorite things to do in Disney is to hotel hop. Basically just jump on the monorail or jump on one of the buses and go to the different hotels. It is so much fun to explore the different hotels. Go to the Grand Floridian, go to the Polynesian, which is my all-time favorite. Just walk around, explore, go see the different sites. Disney World is known for really putting 100% into everything they do. So if you're going to the Polynesian, you're going to get such a sense of what it feels like to be there. If you're going to the Grand Floridian, I always feel so fancy when I walk in there because it's such an elegant hotel. And there is so much to look at as well. So you can save a lot of money and still have a ton of fun if you just take a day off of the parks and have a little bit of a rest day. The next thing is, if you can do without the park hopper, cut out the park hopper out of your budget. Now, I personally am a huge fan of the park hopper, whether I go for 2 days or I go for an extended stay of like 7 days or more. I always have to get the park hopper because I like to go to more than one park in a day. If you and your family are fine with just doing one park a day and making the most out of Magic Kingdom for a day, and then going to Epcot the second day and making the most out of Epcot, cut out the park hopper. It is really expensive to add the park hopper on for just one person. Now imagine if you're doing that for a family of 5, a family of 7, etc. You're going to be saving yourself sometimes like $700 if you just cut the park hopper out. And you can still make an amazing magical trip of just going to one park a day. Plan it all out and start your day at the beginning and ask yourself what you want to do for that entire day and make the very most out of it. And then plan for your second day in another park, plan for your third day in another park, and so on and so forth. This next tip has to do with people who plan on going to Disney more than once in a calendar year. If you plan on going to Disney more than once in a year, sign up for the annual pass holder. The annual pass holder is $750, $749 for the year. Now, Adam and I went summer of 2015. We went for 7 days and the price of our parks were about $450. For us to upgrade to the annual pass holder, it was only an extra $300, and we knew we wanted to go again summer of 2016. So basically when we go this summer, we went in December and we're going again in the summer. our whole parks were paid for. Not your hotel and not your flight, of course, but the parks itself is paid for. It's going to save you a lot of money. Now, the only thing with that is you have to do it during your stay. So when we went in the summer, we had to do it the very last day of our trip. You cannot go home and say, oh, you know what, I'm planning on going again during this calendar year, let me call up. They won't let you upgrade. You have to do it while you're in the parks, and it has to be at one of the parks. So it has to be either in Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, or Animal Kingdom. You can also upgrade in Disney Springs. So I don't know, if you plan on going more than once in a year, you're going to save a lot of money. If Adam and I didn't upgrade to the annual pass holder, we paid that extra $300, and now we can go however many times we want for the entire year. If we didn't do that, we would have had to pay $300 when we went in December, and then another $450 when we go this summer. So it really does save you money. This next tip is the holy grail of saving money for a Walt Disney World trip, and I just found out about it in December. Now, this is not feasible for everybody, but if you are in a position where you can open up a new credit card, open up a Disney credit card. I received something in the mail saying that I qualified for a Disney credit card, and they were having a promotion, and this is not just a promotion now, this is a promotion that they are always running. So basically, if you spend $500 on your card in the first 3 months, they send you a $200, that's right, a $200 Disney gift card that you can use on pretty much anything Disney. So I just booked my trip. Adam and I just booked our trip in November, I want to say it was. November, December, we booked our trip. I qualified for the Disney credit card. I got approved. They sent me the credit card. I swiped, or I charged $500 to my trip, and then they sent me a $200 gift card, which I used to pay for more of my trip. So my trip this summer, I think, is costing like a little more than $1,000. I charged the $500, which I had to pay regardless, and then they sent me $200 that I just basically charged, and I got $200 off of my trip for doing nothing but just paying my trip. So again, I know that's not feasible for everybody, but if you are in a position where you can open up a credit card, try to contact Disney. I think it's through Chase Visa. That's who the Disney credit card is through. Contact them. They're always running promotion like that, and you can save $200 off your trip right then and there. You can use that on souvenirs, you can use it to pay off your trip, you can use it at the hotel, etc. These next two are tinier little tips and tricks, but they will definitely save you a lot of money in the long run. The first one is to bring your own ponchos. It is going to rain if you go to Disney World. It does not matter if you're going in June, if you're going in March, if you're going in December, you're going in September. It does not matter. It will most likely rain at least once on your trip. Ponchos at Disney World are between $7 to $15. I don't know the exact price because I've never bought one there before, but think about if you're going with a family of 4, that's a lot of extra money. If you are going even with just a party of 2, that's extra money that you could use for food, for souvenirs, or just to have in your pocket. You can get ponchos at the dollar store. They're not going to be the best quality, but they're going to get the job done. The next thing that I can suggest, highly suggest, is do not buy water bottles from Walt Disney World. Water bottles are like $2.50 or $3.50 of just nonsense. You do not have to buy water bottles in Disney World because you can go to any quick service restaurant or quick service location and they will give you a cup of water. Now, I didn't know about this a couple years back when I went with my friend and I was on the Disney dining plan, and you can buy water bottles with your snack credits. So I was using my snack credits to buy water bottles. I was using my money to buy water bottles. I was buying like 3 or 4 a day because I can only go in the summer. I'm a teacher and it gets so hot and I was nervous I was going to get dehydrated. A cast member actually came up to me, which I really appreciate, and said, "Are you sure you want to buy a water bottle? You can just go to that quick service restaurant and they'll give it to you for free." Now, I'm not talking about like a little Dixie cup size of water. They will give you the full cup of water and it's free. So after that, I didn't spend any more money on water. I just constantly went to the quick services and they are A-okay with it. They don't get upset. They're like, "Oh, sure, absolutely, here you go." They give you your cup of water and you can be on your merry way. Now, if I can make a suggestion, I know this sounds so silly, but go to Gaston's Tavern in Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom. It is, I don't know what they do to this water, but it is the most like crisp, refreshing, just amazing water I've ever had. And again, they give you a cup like this big. So go to the quick services. It will save you oodles and oodles of money. These next two have to do with parents. If you are a parent bringing your child into the park or your children into the park, there are several things that you can do to save a little bit of money. One of the first things to do is to bring your own autograph book. Make your own autograph book. I mentioned this in several of my videos before, but autograph books at Walt Disney World are like $8 to sometimes upwards of $20, depending on how fancy you want that autograph book to be. You can make your own for like under $2. go to the Dollar Tree, get one of the nice cardstock notebooks. They have the tiny ones like this big. Go to Michael's, buy some fancier cardstock, glue it on, and boom, you have an autograph book for under $2. I think one of the best souvenirs that a kid can bring home is an autograph book, because every time they open it up and they see that autograph from Cinderella or from Winnie the Pooh or any of the characters on the park, it automatically brings back awesome memories of their trip. So make your own autograph book. It's going to save you a lot of money. The next thing is souvenirs. Bring your own souvenirs. Now, I do not have kids, so this doesn't really apply to me, and I've never done this before, but I do have friends who have done this before. Now, souvenirs, I am not ashamed to say it, I love shopping at Walt Disney World, but souvenirs are so stinking expensive at Walt Disney World. Again, I am not ashamed to say it because they're so overpriced. Now, if you have like a couple of kids that you're going with, shop before. Go on Amazon, buy some souvenirs, bring them in your suitcase, and give them to your kids either at the hotel. You can even bring it in your backpack and give it to them right there at the park. If you're going to buy at Walt Disney World for several children, or even just for yourself, it's going to get very expensive, so do your shopping beforehand. The next one has to do with the Disney Memory Maker. I receive so many questions on my channel on whether or not I think the Disney Memory Maker is worth it, and I always respond pretty much the same. It really just depends. Now for me, I am huge into pictures. So if you are huge into professional grade pictures, yes, 100% yes, get the Memory Maker. They just dropped the price down from $179 to $149. And if you are an annual pass holder, you get it for free. Now these cast members, these PhotoPass cast members are trained to take the most amazing photos. They take about 7 photos at each spot, so you're guaranteed to get at least one that you like, and they are trained photographers, so they know what they're doing. The pictures come out phenomenal. Now, if you are going and you don't buy the Memory Maker, but you just want to buy like a picture or two, the pictures at Disney sometimes are like $30 for a picture, for like a large size picture. Sometimes you can get for like $8 a picture. But if you find like 10 or 12 of them that you really like, it just makes so much more sense to get the Disney Memory Maker because you have access to every single photo that is taken on your trip. Now, on the other hand, if you're really trying to save some money and you don't want to spend the extra $149, just ask the PhotoPass cast members to use your own camera. Anytime you go to a PhotoPass cast member, they're going to take a picture on their camera and they're going to scan your Magic Band, but right after they're done, you can ask them to take a picture with your camera and they never get upset about it. They are very friendly. They are trained to say, okay, because they know that not everybody's going to want to use the Memory Maker. So if you still want those amazing photos with those backdrops, whether it's in front of Cinderella's castle or it's with a character, just use your own camera. You can save the $149. It might not be as crisp because your camera might not be as professional as theirs, but you're still going to get the picture. And the very final tip that I have for you could not have come at a better time because the sun is super going down right now and I'm using natural lighting to film. I'm sure you can tell each clip is getting significantly darker, so couldn't have come at a better time. But the very final tip that I have for you is to make yourself a little Disney saving mason jar or a Disney saving jar. I actually made this in one of my previous Disney DIY videos, my DIY craft videos. I will just link my entire Disney playlist in the description below if you want to check out any of the things that I mentioned in this video. But this is my Dole Whip fund. Basically, what I do with this is I save any extra money that I have, whether it's $1, whether it's $20, I put it right in here. Something I've mentioned to people before is if you are going out for a night with your friends or whoever it may be and you plan on spending $50 but then you only end up spending $40, instead of keeping that extra $10 in my wallet, I just put it right in here. If I keep it in my wallet, I'm going to buy a tea or I'm going to buy a taco or I'm going to buy just something unnecessary. I take that $10 and I put it right in here. And I save it up until I go on my trip. Last time when I did this for my trip last year, I had $1,000 saved up. And it really wasn't any extra money that I was just putting in there. It was money that I already planned on using. I didn't use as much and I just put the remainder of it right in here. Now, if you ever have extra money, just make yourself a little jar, stash up your money, and by the time your trip comes, even if it's $20, that's an extra $20 that you have for your trip. Again, like I said, I saved $1,000 last time and I just brought it on my trip and that was what I spent on all of my souvenirs. So get yourself a little Disney Dole Whip mason jar. And that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other Disney money saving tips or tricks, please leave them in the comments below because I would love to know them and I'm sure everybody watching this video would love to scroll to the comments and read them as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you and I hope you're having